What's up, everybody? So, it is now April 25th, and it is spring, but the summer is coming, and everyone's messaging me. A lot of people want dieting coaching, but I'm going to keep it simple. I get overabundance of emails trying to help out with diet. I've helped everyone out with macros on here and how to calculate it multiple times, but I can't handle all the emails for training, which I would love to do because financially it's awesome. Now what I'm going to do is just tell you how I do it. For cutting, that is, for dieting, how I figure it out. So this is how I formulate as a general rule for most of the people that contact me. I'm not going to be doing any kind of training for clients right now. I'm putting together a website, and that website, hopefully it's going to be like an improvement website to help improve everybody and just, you know, tell you what I do, and same thing like this, YouTube, but maybe I'll be updated a little bit more since it's been a little difficult trying to record myself and everything. But the main goal for me is to get a lot of good stuff to you, a lot of good content and a lot of good things that will help you guys improve your experiences, improve your life, improve your fitness, stuff like that. My main goal is to help people improve, and I can do it this method, or you know, whatever method I can send it to you guys to help you guys improve your quality of life. That's what I'm gonna do. So macros. This is really actually really easy. What I do, if you want, now let me say this first off. There is subject to some kind of change. Like some people, which is why it's good to have a coach sometimes, is you have to make adjustments for their schedule, for their workout routine. Sometimes you have to adjust certain things. If the people don't like certain stuff, how they feel, based off how they feel, and you pretty much get that from a fitness standpoint from experience. Now certified nutritionists, stuff like that, they will give you proper nutrition and tell you exactly what you need, just, you know, for general health, and dietitians and all that stuff. But the problem with that is a lot of them aren't geared towards the body composition manipulation by having as much muscle as possible and being shredded. A lot of them are more like general health, like, you know, working at hospitals to make sure everyone has like a healthy eating plan, and people with eating disorders to get themselves back to health. That's the difference. But what I do for fitness, so you can like get lean, maintain muscle, all that, is this. So first of all, it's a very simple formula. Like I said, it has to be tweaked sometimes. You take your body weight, okay? Let's take a guy that say he weighs 185 pounds, okay? This is just general rule. There's a lot of things usually high. It doesn't matter. This is the general rule, and this will work for you. It will work for 95% of you who will want to cut this year. You just have to stay consistent. The first thing is get your weight. Weigh in the morning on an empty stomach. This is the most accurate weight, so you don't have food sitting in you, all that before you eat, no water and all that shit. So weigh in. Say you weigh 185. First thing I do is multiply that by 10. You get 1,850 calories, okay? Well, 1,850 when you multiply it by 10. That's your calories. That's how many calories generally you'll need just to hold on to your weight if you were laying down and you didn't move. No activity level on that. Next is what I'll do is I'll multiply your activity level into it, okay? Now, how do you know your activity level? You really don't. You really have no idea, because you might think you exercise a lot if you're just doing weights or cardio or whatever, and you might have a desk job where you're sitting around all the time. So this is the number that really has to change. Now for that, I start at 1.3. So you just take, I'll just take a little calculator here. You take your body weight, say you're 185, multiply it by 10, okay? Then you're going to multiply that, say activity, by 1.3. And that's what your calories are. 2,405. Now that's the calories I would use to get you leaner. You would be cutting now at 2,405 calories to start, and I'll show you how we're going to manipulate the protein, carbohydrate, and the fat. Now, before we do that, the way this number changes is after 2 weeks, if your weight is dropping down rapidly and you feel drained and you're losing like 4 pounds a week or something, you are not eating enough. You must be more active. So all you do is you take that original 185 times 10, okay? Instead of 1.3, you're going to multiply that 1.4. Now you'd be dieting in 2,590. Now you have to go through this, weekly and see how much weight you're losing. What's your goal? Ideally, I'd like to lose a pound, maybe half a pound, to a pound a week. This ensures that I hold on to as much muscle as possible. So if you can get to a pound a week of weight loss, max, you don't want to be dropping like 3 pounds every week, 4 pounds. A lot of muscle mass is probably leaving. But if you can get to that level of 1 pound a week, you're pretty much doing well, especially if your strength stays up, especially if you're feeling great, you don't feel too drained, especially in the beginning. You don't want to die out, you don't want to just crash diet and have no energy. The most important thing is having enough energy to get through your workouts. So let's go back to the 185 times 1.3, that's where we start. 185, times 10 times 1.3, 2,405, okay? Copy that. That's going to be your calories. Now, first thing is fat. Now, when I'm dieting, I like to use 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. So, times 1.3 times 185, you're going to have 55.5 grams of fat, okay? That's 499 calories. So, let me write this down. I'll keep track of this, okay? This is what you'd write it down. So 55 grams of fat. You can estimate that's 500 calories. Okay? And 2,405 calories is our goal. Okay. So, now for protein. Take your body weight, 1.85, multiply that by 1.3. That's going to get 240 grams. Okay, 240 grams of protein. Times that by 4, you'll get your calories. 962 calories. Alright? Make sure that's right. Okay. Oops. Alright. So now we got our protein. So fat's like 55 grams. Protein's 240. And now you want to know what your carbs are. So 2,405, okay? This is your calories. You're going to minus 500. That's your fat you're minusing. You're left with 1,905 calories. You're going to subtract 962 calories from your protein. You're left with 943 calories. That's your carbs. So just divide that by 4, because there's 4 calories per gram of protein. And there you have it, 235.75 grams. You can round up, 236 grams of carbs. Alright, so our total, we're eating about 2,400 calories a day, 55 grams of fat every day, 240 grams of protein, and 236 grams of carbohydrates. That would be the macros for a 185-pound individual. Now, if you need more calories, you can, there's another way to do it. If you don't want to do activity level, you do 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. You can just slowly go up, maybe like 100 calories, or 50 calories a day, maybe then 100 if you're losing too much weight. And those calories are only going to go into your carbohydrates. Now, this is a general rule for most people. Obviously, if you're obese, some of these numbers might have to change. So, but for 99% of the people, 95%, I don't know the exact percentage, but for a lot of you, this is where we'd start off with. And that's it. The big thing is consistency. You need to hit these numbers as close as you can every single day. if you want to lose more weight, obviously less. You're gonna have to either expend more energy or lose more. You don't have to eat every 3 hours. You don't have to eat certain foods like just chicken and tilapia. You just need to eat whatever you need to hit those numbers. Obviously, I would rather you eat healthy. I'd rather eat healthy. But it means if one day you're low on carbs, say you hit 240 protein or 230 protein, 235 protein, and like 50 grams of fat or something, and you're like 200 or 180 carbs, and you're like, I need more carbs. And at the end of the night, you have a Pop-Tart or something. It's fine, as long as it hits your numbers. So I wish I knew this stuff earlier when I started lifting, because I had no exact method. I just ate every 3 hours and ate clean foods and never really achieved the physique that I wanted to achieve. I definitely got in shape and I looked pretty good, but there was a difference. There's a big difference when you devise a plan like this and you stick to it consistently and do the same thing with your workouts. So, wrapping it up, take your body weight, multiply it by 10, multiply that number by 1.3, and that gets your calories. For protein, 1.3 grams of protein per pound of body weight, however much you weigh. So if you're 185, it's about 240 grams of protein a day. Fat is 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. So if you are 185, it's about 55 grams of fat. And then carbohydrates will be the remainder of your calories. If you're losing weight too fast, you're going to have to up the carbohydrates a little bit. And that's pretty much it. Now for refeeds are, a lot of people are like, yo, it resets leptin, it does all this stuff and whatever. But listen, you're not going to crash your metabolism like you think. If you're going to do a refeed, do it when you really need it, when you're really flat and you're really starting to get weak. I end up getting lean pretty well, and I can handle it pretty well. So usually once a week, every Sunday, I'll just take my carbohydrates, whatever they are. Say my carbs are, so 236, use that guy. I'm going to multiply those carbs by 1.5, okay? So once a week, I'll just keep my macros the same on everything, and my carbs will be 354 for that day, for Sunday. Now what you're going to see on Monday is your workouts are going to be insane. You're going to just feel so much better, so much energy, you're going to be fuller, and then you're going to deplete through the week, and then you're going to carb up again. If you start gaining weight too frequently, you know, and you're like, oh my god, I'm not really cutting anymore, I'm starting to gain, maybe these refeeds, you should move them to every 2 weeks. Usually the leaner you get, the more frequent you can have these refeeds. Say you're like already at like 6% body fat, and you have your macros, and you're just totally depleted, and 4 days go by, and you're withering away. You could incorporate another refeed. Now, usually a coach is someone that helps guide you during this process, but the facts are pretty simple. That's it. Hopefully, you guys get shredded this summer if that's your goal, and let me know what other videos you want. I know everyone wants training videos, and I would love to give them to you. I just have to make sure that I have some sort of a setup for the recording. Also, the workouts will probably be a little bit boring. I pretty much stick to like the same routine when I find the routine I want to use for my particular goals. I just stick with that routine over and over and over and over and over again. Just like you do with the diet. I stick with it, and I just try to improve upon it over and over, you know, and just let time, have patience, and let time do its thing. You don't got to switch it up all the time. That's another thing. If you're like training someone, they're like, oh, I'm doing the same thing. Like I want new workout. I'm bored, and it's like, well, I can give you a new one. But just get better at what you do. I mean, if you want to be, here we go, weird analogies. If you want to be good at painting, right? You don't paint a couple days, you know, and you paint for a couple weeks. You're like, I'm bored. I'm gonna start doing marble slabs. That's not gonna help you better at painting. You know, you just keep switching up the art. It's just keep progressing on what you're doing. The more practice, the more repetitions, no confusing muscles and all that shit. Just do the same thing, keep getting better at it, keep pushing yourself, stay with the diet, keep going. The only recommendation I have for foods on the diet is eat healthy, nutrient-dense foods, and switch up the foods. That's the only thing you can, muscle confusion, switch up the foods. The whole purpose of switching up the foods is not tricking your body. It's just that when you switch up the foods, you're getting different micronutrients. You know, you're getting, your macro is going to be the same because you're hitting those numbers, but you're going to be eating differently, you know, more vitamin A, vitamin B, all these antioxidants, all these different things, and vitamin C, because you're switching the foods up. That's something really good to switch up. It gives you a more diverse diet with more nutrients coming in, and that's what you want. All right, that's it. Not too much ramble today. Yeah. So, I'm glad to talk to you guys. I told you I could do this every day. I was thinking about starting a podcast, but all the stuff that I actually really want to do takes time, takes money. I have the time to put in to do these things because I enjoy it. This is like my hobby. I enjoy helping. But we'll see. If everything in an ideal world, everything would already be set up, everything would already be done. But it's going to take some time for me to get everything set up the way I want it to get set up. I don't want to rush anything, but I'm happy to be able to make some of these videos for you guys every now and then. I would like to have one as much as possible. So if you guys can leave comment, subscribe if you haven't. I do get motivated a lot when I see those people. More videos, man. Love your videos. I got a message the other day saying best channel. I don't think it's the best channel, but I think it's an honest, good channel. And it's what I want to do. I want to send some help out there for the people that need it, improve your quality of life. And that's my mission. And that brings me pleasure, honestly, is helping people out. Like I said a million times before. So comment, subscribe, ideas, I read them. I get a lot of messages for the workouts, but that's a work in progress. I'll do a book recommendation soon. I've been slacking on my reading. I have to get up on that. Follow me on Instagram, The Muscle Nerd. And that's it. See you guys soon. Later.